Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Monday, October 15th, 2018. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. You can see this is a year-to-date chart right now on a daily time frame. So this line right here is the first trading day of the year, and for the most part, we have this large key range, which we knew from the beginning of the year could trap prices for the better part of the year, and that's exactly what happened for the most part. We got above here, we failed to hold the 78 halves, significant selling pressure, hitting almost both of our targets here, the 27.0375, very close, getting to 12 quarter before it turned around a little bit. But you can see that 2700 level is very, very important here. We've had lots of action off this level, and this is a natural spot right here for price to bounce a little. Does this bounce lead to the next new high? I'm not quite sure of that right now, but I do think that there is a near-term bounce coming, and that near-term bounce at least perhaps takes us back to the midpoint of the impulse sell-off. That's the 28.28 half. So from this low here, which was a fairly strong low, not the strongest low I've seen, but it is the strongest low that we've seen in this decline that could have held up, and it did so far. Again, double inside day developing right now. Early pullbacks have been defended. That's bullish as well. Again, short term, we could be looking at a bounce into 28.28 half at the very least. High probability bounce into that zone with a shot to see a move as high as the 28.75, 28.80 zone. If we do bounce into that zone, perhaps selling pressure will come back in and keep prices in check. But I think for the most part, solid impulse sell-off. You likely get a bounce back to the midpoint, and that gives us a new key range to work off of here heading into the end of the year. Let's take a look at the NQ. If I can find it, there it is. Here's the NQ. Very, very similar price action for the NQ. Again, price is holding here at 7,700, failed new high. We talked about that rejection as it was developing. During the monthly market outlook, I mentioned 7700s and how it could open up some weakness, and it did, quite a bit of weakness. We finally found a strong low at the 69.0775s, and so far we're bouncing up above that. The way that price rallied here late Friday and held those gains by the end of the day, now you're seeing the pullback retest right here. This is a retest after stop run. That could open up much more upside. Again, back to the midpoint at the very least. That would be 73.18 quarter. And again, this impulse high coming in at 28.75 there drops down at the 0775s. That's the midpoint. And that gives us a new key range to work off of as well heading into the end of the year. So that's a very easy target, and we probably can get probably as high as around 74.40 before meaningful selling pressure enters the market yet again. So again, quite a sell-off. Not really expected that we're just going to turn around and go back higher through those highs and just keep going up. Instead, the next bounce could be met with some sort of weakness or selling pressure, and it could keep prices inside this key range for a while. But eventually, this range will give us some great action to trade off of down the road. Right now, positioned for a current bounce back up, so we'll see how that plays out. All right, let's take a look now at crude oil. Crude oil is up 0.8% right now, but it appears like it is developing a failed new high in a down move. When you have a down move and you get a failed new high, usually you see another round of selling pressure. It's basically what happened right here. And when we were talking about bears defending the 75 to 75.25 level, that failed new high was a big part of that as well. And again, that led to a significant two-day decline. Now, the magnitude of the next decline you never really know, but again, this midpoint right here could be the test. That's at 69.34. We're currently trading 71.94. So if this failure at 72s occurs today, over the next day or two, could we could see some weakness back towards 69s. So keep that in mind. Above 73 would break that pattern a little bit and lead to a squeeze again back toward recent highs. So right now, watching 72s for signs of rejection. Here's a look at the YM. Now the YM dropped all the way back to its key range level. You can see right here, this level has been very, very important. You have an FOMC key level there from March. That's the 24 686s, and then you have just above that is the midpoint of that key range as well. And just look at how incredible that support level has been. So failing to hold the 26 250s opened up a move back to this low. Again, here's your high, here's your low. That's the midpoint right there of that impulse sell-off. That's 25 930. We could be looking at a bounce into that zone, perhaps as high as 26 2, but then we may see some selling pressure enter. So on this next bounce, if we do get it, look to take those profits at those high probability targets, because there is no guarantee that prices will just continue higher. Instead, we may see a bit of selling pressure and some sort of range development inside the newly developing key range. Lastly, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin was up quite a bit today, but rejected. And again, this is a pattern that we've been seeing here quite often. It's still holding the 6,000 level. We're still seeing significant lower highs and a significant descending nature of this pattern. This is very bearish in most cases. You can see here it happened over here and it still rallied as well. But I mean, it just shows that price is trying to go up and it can't. And again, it's just having quite a bit of compression at this edge. It can't really get out of its own way here. And so again, sometimes when that happens, it needs a flush. And so we've been talking about this for some time. If it cannot get back above, 7K here pretty soon, we could be looking at a flush that takes us down. And whenever that support level is broken, it will be fast and furious. It's going to be a significant move where you have one day that takes you down, and we're getting down to 5K or something like that. So again, right now, avoid the chop and continue to watch this 6K level, because a break could be significant. All right, that is it for now. Let's see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.